Welcome into the latest edition of ESPN FC. I'm Dan Thomas, joined by Craig Burley and Stevie Nicol. It is the day we've all been waiting for. The 30-man shortlist has been announced for this year's Ballon d'Or, and of course, there will be a new winner this year. Rodri not involved because of his injury. Maybe a couple of years ago, we thought it might be Vinicius Jr., maybe Kylian Mbappe battling it out for this award. Of course, both Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. But according to the bookies, there is certainly one front runner, and that is Ousmane Dembele, of course, so key to the success that PSG had during their season going to win the Champions League. But it's Lamine Yamal that the bookies reckon could push Dembele all the way. Of course, the teenage sensation, just incredible this season for both Barcelona and Spain. According to the bookies, then it's very much a two-horse race. Welcome into the show, Ian Darke and Don Hutchinson. Right, it's a given. Nobody likes individual awards in a team sport. Yes, it's very difficult to compare players who play for better national teams who earn the Club World Cup, blah, blah, blah. We've been there, we've done it. We've been there. This is not an excuse to get on a soapbox.
Well, you're on it.
No, I'm not on it because I am nipping it in the bud before we get to it, and we can just get names and we can get on with it. Don, who would you vote for?
Dembele. Best player in the world.
There we are. Perfect. All right, Ian Darke.
I think you've got to say Dembele because Paris Saint-Germain won the Champions League so impressively, and he was at the heartbeat of that.
Bit longer,
Steve
boys.
Nicol.
Dembele.
Dembele as well?
Yeah.
No case for Lamine Yamal?
No, not at all. I think it's pretty clear. I think the only argument is some of the names that are actually on the list.
Well, they had to make 30, didn't they?
Yeah, exactly.
That's
you
it.
can tell.
First Scottish player for 38 years, Stephen.
First for 38 years, Scott McTominay. That's fantastic.
I mean, obviously he's not going to come close to winning it. But how fantastic is that? Put out by Man United, goes to Napoli, wins the Scudetto, is loved by the Napoli fans and has just done a great job. So fantastic for him.
Why are you pulling a face?
I didn't see this coming.
But it is, isn't it?
No, it is.
I mean, he was a big part player.
Scott McTominay love him.
No, he was a big part player at Man United.
He's caught me by surprise.
Yeah. But is the story not more? Forgive me. It's the story not more. Dembele, who of course went from Borussia Dortmund to Barcelona for such a big amount of money, and then was pretty much a big part player.
I disagree. I disagree.
Goes to
All right,
PSG.
look at this.
Yes, I don't know what.
Let's just drill over Scott McTominay for a couple of minutes.
But this is quite something from Dembele, isn't it?
You and I, it is. And he had a terrific second half of the season in particular. We should remember that. The first half of the season, PSG were not that great. The second half of the season, they were outstanding. Yes, he's got more goals than Lamine Yamal, but we watched La Liga every week. You and I sit in this studio, and what we saw, when the guys say it's not even close, I just disagree with that. And I'm taking nothing away, but for me, it's the young Spaniard just ahead of him. But I don't have an issue with that. Scott McTominay thought.
So because of that,
I thought you were giving me.
You thought I was giving you a
I can only see two fingers.
What?
and because of what you've just said about Dembele, is another reason why Dembele deserves it as well. Listen, I've been one of those guys who have sat here for years and went, "What's this guy Dembele's kidding everybody on?" Mm-hmm. He produces something, all of a sudden disappears.
But because
he's came good, before you get rid of him,
doesn't detract from because he's came good. Doesn't detract from what this youngster has done.
No, I don't disagree. He's fantastic, and if it went to Yamal, then it'd be tough to argue. You know, quite frankly, you might be right. He might be the best player on the planet, but the award is about that particular time. A 12-month period.
Right.
And over that 12-month period,
where's he going?
Dembele's been the best.
Yes, but Lamine Yamal hasn't really... This is kind of his first full season. This is the 12-month period we're judging him on, and you've just said that he's the best player in the world.
No, I said you couldn't argue that he may be the best player in the world.
Right.
But this is not about the best player on the planet. This is about a period of 12 months.
Yes, exactly.
And that's why Dembele deserves it, along with the story of how bad he was and how many managers who must have driven mental. Have you got something wrong with your eye?
I'm just intrigued.
He keeps going like, ah.
What you're saying is that Dembele has been the best player in the last 12 months.
I never said that.
Right. So you're saying Lamine Yamal has been the best player in the last 12 months?
I think what we're going down here is a rabbit hole. We'd call this is a rabbit hole.
I thought you were going to say
I'm going to turn this way. Let me know when it's done.
Just explain.
Yeah, I think over the last 12 months,
right,
his body of work is better than Yamal's.
So Dembele's been the best player of the last 12 months?
His body of work over the last 12 months.
Why can't you just say he's the best player? Why do you have to say body of work?
Well, why do I have to say that? Just
because this is what it's
you.
about. This is what this award is about. The best player over the last 12 months. Who is it?
Dembele.
Right, OK. Right, we got there.
I told you that 5 minutes ago.
Yes, but then you started going on that you could say Lamine.
I was talking about the story. He was talking about the story of McTominay, and I'm talking about the story of Dembele.
They're, you know, without wasting any more time, they are both great stories. One from a guy who, in Spain, is now just a superstar, and he's turned 18, and we're going to get a good front seat about how he handles the pressure, which he has done brilliantly up to now. And the other one, you're absolutely right, Steve, is the story of inconsistency and issues and being shown the door at Barcelona, and he was all that sort of stuff to an absolutely brilliant period in his home country at PSG. I don't really have an issue either way. Both of them were absolutely fantastic.
I think one good thing, almost inevitably will happen this year, which of course did happen last year, was the fact that whoever doesn't win it won't throw their toys out the pram. Yeah. We won't see a big protest, indeed. If it goes Lamine Yamal or Dembele, we won't see...
Well, there's no point in Real Madrid even thinking about turning up because they're going to win sod all again.
Very much so. Where do you stand on the argument of Lamine Yamal, Ian?
Well, I think if you're talking about a player who gets you out of your seat, Lamine Yamal is your man. I mean, he's been phenomenal, hasn't he? And we all love watching him. But I agree with what Stevie says. We're talking about the Ballon d'Or for this year. And in this year, I think it's Dembele's award, and he will deserve it. And I think he will win it as well. But you know something about Lamine Yamal? He could be like Messi. He could win 7 or 8 of these things before he's through.
Well, he'll win 9 if he wins this one. And by the way, Ian, we're dressing up in this show now. You know,
I know,
so
Ian. Have you come from a council meeting? What's going on?
Well, look at Stevie.
Well, exactly. That is not a gauge.
I turn up on this show, and you're all dressed
quite sure how to take that
every week. And now, because I'm wearing a tie, you've decided to go into the smart casual mode, Craig.
But there you go. I'm just a spite.
I'm just doing the opposite.
No, take the tie off.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, on the bottom. Take the jacket off.
It wasn't, of course, just the shortlist for the men's Ballon d'Or that was announced. It's a women's Ballon d'Or as well, which we announced at the same ceremony, of course. Long list of 30 players. Marta, of course, maintains her place among the best in the world. She was so brilliant, wasn't she? For Brazil, just a couple of weeks ago in that final against Colombia. Very much an argument for her to once again be named Ballon d'Or. Oh dear. Ter Stegen, this is turning into a right old soap opera in Catalonia, of course. Ter Stegen was Barcelona's captain going into this season, was being very much the apt word here. This is what Barcelona said. Barcelona hereby announced that following the disciplinary proceedings opened against player Marc-Andre Ter Stegen, and until this matter is definitively resolved, the club, by mutual agreement with the sporting director and the coaching staff, has decided to temporarily withdraw his role as first team captain. For more on this, Gemma Salea joins us. Ian's still with us as well. Fortunately, he's kept most of his clothes on. Gemma, just explain what's going on here. How did we get to this point where Barcelona have said to Ter Stegen, you're not our captain anymore?
Yes, and there is an open conflict until the last month of last season. He wanted to play. He wanted to be the main goalkeeper. Hansi Flick decided to put Tech Chesney or even Iñaki Peña in the last game. Then he felt outraged because Barcelona decided to sign another goalkeeper, Joan Garcia, without informing him. And this war started to escalate, and it's starting to look like an ugly divorce. And the last action is that he had to undergo surgery, and he decided not to sign the medical report that Barcelona needs to send to La Liga. This will release some salary. It would be crucial for Barcelona to register the new players, especially the goalkeepers, Joan Garcia, but also Tech Chesney, that has renewed. And this was the last drop, the last action that Barcelona wanted to take this unprecedented action to remove a player from being the main captain. This is usually a decision of the locker room, but Barcelona considered that he is being selfish. He has signed that permission to send the medical reports to La Liga before, so they consider that the only reason to not doing that now is to make it more difficult to Barcelona to register the new players, especially the goalkeepers. And this is especially important doing it right now because on Sunday is the big opening party at Barcelona, the trophy Joan Gamper, where the main captain needs to talk to the fan base, and it would have been very uncomfortable. So they took this decision today. I had the chance to talk to some of the locker room of Barcelona. They were shocked because they didn't know this unilateral decision. But it's also something that they didn't want to get involved with this conflict with their captain. 11 seasons in the club. Is the only player at Barcelona who has won the Champions League. And they are shocked, but they understand the decision of the club.
What did he think he was going to achieve by doing this, Gemma? Because from the outside looking in, this always looked like it was going to be ugly, and it always looked like that Ter Stegen was going to be on the losing side.
So he's upset. He thinks he's been mistreated, and he's having this kind of conflict with the club. He still has 3 more seasons, so at some point it will be a matter of money because he wants to be rewarded for that. But at the end of the day, it's very difficult because in this ugly divorce, then it's very difficult to know who will be more damaged because, of course, if Barcelona wants to play dirty as well, he might not play ever again, and so he loses any chance to be the Germany goalkeeper that it would be his dream in the next World Cup.
Ugly for Barcelona, Ian, here.
Yeah, it is. And I think it's sad treatment of a long-serving player. As Gemma was saying, the only player at Barcelona who's won the Champions League. And this is all, again, isn't it? At the heart of this is the fact that Barcelona have got 5 players at the moment. They can't register. They need to free up money to meet La Liga's salary cap demands. And really, it's kind of all about that, isn't it? And Ter Stegen, yeah, OK, he's played maybe a little bit fast and loose and been awkward because he's angry that he isn't going to be the #1 goalkeeper. It looks that way anyway at Barcelona. But I've got a lot of sympathy with him, really, because he spent a lot of time injured in the last couple of years. And I just think it's an unedifying spectacle every year to see Barcelona scrambling around like this to get players registered. They will sort it out. They always seem to with some financial gymnastics, but it's not a good look.
There's probably only 2 or 3 players safe from this at Barcelona, isn't it? Lamine Yamal, Rafinha,
Pedri.
Probably Pedri. Everybody else is probably a pawn. Think about the treatment Frankie de Jong got a couple of years ago when they were trying to get him out so badly to get these extra money, to get the registration, to meet the salary cap that they needed and sign players and blah, blah, blah. The fans were waiting at the training grounds, booing him and abusing him because the club were putting out reports that he was the bad guy, and Ian's absolutely correct. This is what they do, and so unless you're one of those 3 or 4 players that are at the moment pretty much untouchable, if they need to get you out, they will drag you through the coals and try and muddy your name. So I kind of get, and I'm saying, I'm sure there's 2 sides to every story here, but he went from vying with Manuel Neuer for the #1 at Germany to being the #1 at Barcelona, to having this long injury, really bad injury, to coming back and basically been surplus to any sort of requirements. So it is a difficult pill to swallow. Maybe he's not handling it correctly, but I think any player would be pretty peeved at the treatment they're getting after being out for so long.
Yeah, there's players up and down the country, in every league, that are getting abused by the club. Because the club, at the end of the day, don't really care about you individually. They only care about what you can do for them. And the fact that Ter Stegen's been out for so long, they've clearly decided he's done at our place and they're trying to get him out and they'll do anything they can. So whatever he's doing that's sticking a spoke in the proverbial wheel, then I've got a lot of sympathy for him.
Inigo Martinez, meanwhile, has left the club. Gemma, it certainly looks like he's on his way to Saudi Arabia. Does that free up a space for them to register a player?
Yes, we need to know how much exactly, because it depends, of course, of the consideration of La Liga. This is not good news for Barcelona, because he was a key player last season, crucial for implementing that Hansi Flick crazy headline. He helped so much Pau Cubarsí last season. He got that captain spirit, always putting a fight. I remember this connection he had with Lamine Yamal, sending this long ball. So he's gonna be very much missed. But Barcelona couldn't forbid him to go. He had a verbal agreement, because he already had an offer from Saudi Arabia last season, and he was asked not to leave. And he had some kind of verbal agreement that if another good offer arrived, the club wouldn't put problems in that. He's 34 years old, and Barcelona considers that they have enough centre backs. But I think Hansi Flick will miss him a lot. And about the space for registering, as it depends on the consideration of La Liga. I've been trying to find out, because this is just a breaking news. Some people say yes, it would at least allow, the very important thing is to register Joan Garcia, because right now Iñaki Peña should be playing in some Mosh in 11 days. And some sources say in La Liga that they need to consider to see the books and to see if this about 17 million annually to take it out of the books will allow Joan Garcia at least to be registered.
If I'm Hansi Flick, I'm not happy, Ian.
Probably not, no. But it always seems to be like this at the start of Barcelona. We're going to be covering their opening game away to Real Mallorca. So it's going to be interesting to see what team takes the pitch there, because Marcus Rashford, of course, signed in a very high-profile move from Manchester United. He's among those players who's waiting to be registered. And we had the same problem for the last couple of seasons. Yep. So, what that Barcelona team might be. There we are. There's the list of the players involved. Somebody like Martin got quite a few games at left back towards the end of last season. You've got the two goalkeepers. So, Gemma's right. They've got to get Joan Garcia, who they brought in from Espanyol, quickly registered. And what have we got? 11 days?
Yep. Plenty of time for Barcelona. Every single season, I feel like we have the same conversation. I think it's it. I think it is done. I don't think we have to talk about Benjamin Sesko anymore. Of course, we've talked at length about the possibility of the Slovenian moving from the Bundesliga to the Premier League. For more on this, let's welcome in Ian Darke, Don Hutchinson. But Rob, never ever have I been so pleased to see you. Because is that it? We don't need to talk about Sesko anymore?
Oh, well, United fans will hope that we're going to talk about Sesko all season, because if he comes in and scores loads of goals, he's going to be the main man, and he's going to be a topic of conversation for the rest of the season. But yeah, in terms of his move, this is something that's been ongoing for months, possibly even years. It's almost every transfer window we talk about Benjamin Sesko moving to the Premier League. He's been linked with almost every top club, Arsenal, most recently, now United. United have got the deal done. They've agreed a fee with RB Leipzig. He's flown to Manchester tonight. He's going to do his medical tomorrow. And we expect that he's going to be presented as a new Man United player before their friendly against Fiorentina at Old Trafford on Saturday.
That's it. Good. Done. If you want to see everyone talk about Benjamin Sesko, just look at every show we've done over the last 3 weeks. What does that mean, though?
Was it not Alexander Isak?
What? No, it's Sesko as well.
Sesko.
All right, well.
Don't interrupt the flow of us saying goodbye to the Benjamin Sesko conversation, because it then moves us on to your boys, Don, in real trouble now as to who they need to bring in to reinforce that front line. Of course, Sesko was to be the man to replace Isak. You said, get rid of Isak, bring in Nunez.
Didn't quite say that, but I think he would work at Newcastle, but unfortunately he's gone to Saudi, so I'm trying to rack my brains of the A-list number 9s out there, the realistic ones. I mean, not going to get Kane, not going to get Lewandowski. And there's talk of like Nicholas Jackson from Chelsea for 80 million, and Sesko was valued at about 75. I mean, I'd lob another 20 in and try Inter's hand for Lautaro Martinez. Quite ironically, you had a list of Ballon d'Or contenders there. Martinez was on it. I didn't see Sesko on it. I didn't see Nicholas Jackson. So why wouldn't Newcastle try and go 100 or 95 for Lautaro Martinez? They're going to need a number 9. Obviously, they lost Callum Wilson. They didn't get Ekitike. They've not got Sesko. The only hope now is, because they haven't got a number 9, Alexander Isak stays. That's probably what Newcastle fans at the minute are clinging on to. But it's a long shot, because Liverpool are not going away. But what Newcastle have got. They've got a player that's got 3 years left on his contract, and they literally can't let him go until they bring. And I think what they're saying is they want 2 strikers before they allow Isak to move on. So, as Ian said, there's a game coming round the corner in about 8 days' time, and Newcastle have got to move pretty quickly.
Why would Lautaro Martinez want to go to Newcastle, by the way? When he's at Inter, they get into Champions League finals. They didn't win the Serie A last year. Probably should have done. Why would he want to go to Newcastle? And why would Darwin Núñez all of a sudden work at Newcastle when it's been quite clear that he's struggled on in the Premier League?
Good question. Good question. I just see a player, Craig, and you guys know when you see a player that puts on a Man United shirt, a Liverpool shirt, Real Barca, sometimes that shirt can weigh a little bit too heavy. You remember his debut, got sent off on his debut, he's emotional. But I think there's a player in there. I think when you look at the profile of player, when you think of what Firmino was for Liverpool, he was coming short, linking the play, and he was getting goals for Salah, getting goals for Mane. Darwin Núñez is a different type. He's more in a profile, and I'm not comparing, obviously, but he wants balls played down the side like Erling Haaland. He's that type of player where you get him down the side as a defenders, he's rapid. Now, what he needs to learn, he needs to learn how to be calm in front of the goal because he's too erratic. Now, at his age, I think going to somewhere like Newcastle, obviously it's not going to happen because I think he's going to Al Hilal. But if he went to Newcastle, I could see a player that Eddie Howe could develop and also be given the time. And you guys know what it's like. I've had it in my career when a manager will say to you, listen, relax. Just go and play the next 6 games, 10 games. You've got no pressure. You don't feel as though you've got to score every single game, otherwise you're going to be on the bench. I think if he played nearly every game for Newcastle in the Premier League, and Eddie Howe got his confidence back and got him playing again and got him chances in front of goal, there's definitely a 15 to 20 goal striker in there. I'm convinced of it. It's just not happened at Liverpool.
Jurgen Klopp couldn't get him going, and Arne Slot didn't fancy him. One of the problems here for Newcastle.
Slot couldn't wait for him, though, Craig.
One of the problems for Newcastle.
Slot couldn't wait for him. Liverpool were got.
No, he wasn't good enough.
Sorry, guys.
He wasn't good. He wasn't good enough for Liverpool.
No, I think.
Okay, all right. Well, he's going to Saudi Arabia.
They couldn't wait for him.
I don't care. Núñez wasn't good enough for Liverpool in the Premier League. The one thing I think, one issue I see with Newcastle is actually being able to attract the players. Sesko, they were prepared to pay big money for Sesko. He didn't want to go there. He wanted to go to Man United. Now, Newcastle are way ahead of Man United in terms of on the field at the moment. We know the problems of United on the field. That looks to be getting negated somewhat by the players that they have signed. Not perfect, but they certainly look as if they're going to be in a better position. They still have the ability, because of their size and because of their history, to sell the club to players. Maybe not like how they could in the glory days when Fergie would pinch a player from other clubs at the last minute, but they're still a big attraction, even though they've had major problems on the field. That's the issue for Newcastle. The issue for Newcastle is they have to pay the money and they have to attract the player. And I think we're seeing that with the Benjamin Sesko deal, because they were able, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but they were prepared to pay more money at the time for Benjamin Sesko, but he wanted to go to Manchester United, and that's Newcastle's problem.
Meanwhile, Rob, you take a look at what Newcastle are going to do, and it's interesting, Don mentioned Nico Jackson. He seems to be shipped around everywhere at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I think Chelsea have made it quite clear that he's available. They've signed an awful lot of centre forwards this summer already. They've got Liam Delap, they've got João Pedro from Brighton. He was a little bit hit and miss last season. I think Chelsea fans, some love him, some aren't that keen. And I think unfortunately for him, he's going to be one that has to make way for the likes of Delap and João Pedro. In terms of what Newcastle do, and I think Newcastle really are looking for players that want to join, because they've been snubbed at so many different turns this summer. The Benjamin Sesko one will hurt, because I think they thought at one point that he was going to join them. That Newcastle's tactic with that was to agree a deal first with RB Leipzig and then hope to agree with Sesko. United have gone the other way round and have tried to convince Sesko first. They've got the yes from Sesko and have then gone to RB Leipzig and said, well, your player wants to join us, you've got to negotiate with us. And that seems to have worked. So Newcastle are in a difficult position now, because the Isak situation is difficult. Obviously they're going to want him to stay. He clearly wants to go to Liverpool. He needs to be replaced. I think Nicholas Jackson's not a bad shout, really. Don just talked there about the pressure and of playing every week and not having to score. If you're going to get benched, I think that he would quite enjoy that at Newcastle. Newcastle fans love their centre forwards. He's quite enigmatic. He's a little bit raw in the terms of how he goes about his football. But I think Newcastle fans might embrace that. And I think in terms of goals in him, I think Nicholas Jackson is a 20 goal a season player. It's just getting that out of him, and maybe Newcastle is the place for him to do that.
I don't get this.
Not at that price.
No.
I mean,
they're wanting 60, 70 million for Jackson. Are you telling me you can't
80.
find? You telling me you can't find somebody who's going to run all day, run the channels, smash into defenders, do all kinds of stuff, give every single thing they've got, and you're going to have to pay 70 million for it? I mean, that's madness. Nicholas Jackson cannot finish. So why does a team like Newcastle need Nicholas Jackson? It's a waste of money.
Ian, your thoughts?
My thoughts are, I agree with Stevie. Nicholas Jackson's pretty erratic, but he's available at the moment. That's a pretty big thing with Newcastle. We've heard about all the rejections they've got. They must feel like jilted lovers at the moment. They really must. But there's a couple of other names. I mean, they're after Johan Wissa from Brentford. I think they need two strikers, because Callum Wilson, is injury prone, has gone to West Ham. Looks like Isak isn't going to play for them again because the bridges seem to be burned. So they need two strikers. So Wissa, I mean, another name there I would just throw in, who they might make a bid for, might be Ollie Watkins. Now, Villa don't want to sell him, but I think for 60 million or so, you've got a proven Premier League goal scorer there, and that might be an idea that crosses their mind.
Meanwhile, Rob, we've had Manchester United over the last year tell us that they haven't got any money. Boo-hoo, look at us, everything's falling apart. We've had to make all these cuts off the pitch. Yet we see them this summer bring in Cunha, bring in Wemo, and now bring in Sesko. So do they have money left to bring in, say, a Carlos Baleba, who they've been linked to? But we're talking like 80 to 100 million?
No, they haven't got the money right now, is the short answer to that. They've been able to do the Sesko deal really because of money that they perhaps didn't think that they were going to get this summer. They've managed to get Marcus Rashford out on loan to Barcelona quicker than they thought. That's a saving of around 40 million euros a year. They've been lucky with some of the sell-on clauses as well. They weren't expecting Anthony Elanga to move from Nottingham Forest to Newcastle for 55 million. That has generated another 5 or 6 million in terms of a sell-on clause. So with all the different clauses that they've managed to receive, they've generated around about sort of 21 million pounds, which has allowed them to then go and reinvest in Benjamin Sesko. But really, right now, the well is dry. They've signed Cunha, they've signed Mbeumo. Sesko will be the next one. If they're going to sign anyone else, if they're going to sign a number 6 or a goalkeeper, they're going to have to start getting players out. They're going to have to get Garnacho out, Anthony, Jadon Sancho, possibly Rasmus Højlund. If they can do that and raise maybe 90 to 100 million pounds, depending on what offers they receive, then there is a possibility that they may go back in for a number 6. Baleba is one of the players that they like, although that deal at the moment, United are considering that to be quite difficult to do just because of the fee that Brighton would demand. But if they can get those players out in time before the deadline, there is a possibility that United may bring in 1 or 2 more players. But I think the bulk of their business right now has been done. Their main aim this summer was to bring goals in. It was to redevelop their attack, and they've done that with Cunha and Mbeumo and Sesko. Anything else, I think United will consider to be a bonus from here on in.
They brought in a number 6. When did they bring in Ugarte? Was it January?
Last summer, wasn't it?
Last summer?
Yeah.
60 million, something like that? Well, there's, you know what I'm saying? It's like just you're rushing out there, panicking, and players. What Julian Laurent said, he's a midfielder that struggles to pass the ball, right?
Which is important, I understand, being a midfielder.
My point is like they have to stop. Part of the issue for them is the wasting of the money.
Yeah.
Now having to try and get these players out to be able to spend again, which they have done pretty well in the forward department. But clearly, when you look at Ugarte and Casemiro in the middle of the park, and you get Kobe Mino still there, it really needs to be strengthened because. Casemiro, although he got better in the second half of the season, he's Mother Nature's telling you that he's going to struggle. And Ugarte just has struggled pretty much since he came in. So they need somebody in there. You can't keep talking about, Bruno Fernandes is going to drop deeper and play in central midfield. He may do that. But that's not natural for him. He wants to be more in the forward position. So if they haven't got any more money or they can't get anybody out last minute to be able to spend some more, this midfield area in front of this back line or back three, whatever it is, that's going to be a real... As much as you've improved the forward department, if you haven't got the engine room sorted out to do all of the sort of donkey work and get the ball up to the forward department, then that's a problem. And that currently is a problem for Ruben Amorim.
As for your predictions now, because you're going to London for the Community Shield tomorrow, I understand.
Well,
yes?
So we're doing predictions now?
I want your predictions now. Where are Manchester United in your top six? Let's start there. Off the back of the United talk.
They will not, no.
No?
They will not.
Top six.
And I've actually gone for... I think Liverpool are favourites, but I've gone for Arsenal to win the league this year. I think they have to. I think Mikel Arteta needs a huge season, and they have signed well. These two teams at the top have signed very, very well. The question is, can Liverpool have the same intensity and effect that they did last year? I think City will be better, but I don't think they're going to defensively be good enough. Chelsea, I've got fourth. Villa Spurs, I think there's issues for Newcastle. That's why Newcastle are not in it. We've just discussed the issues they have. And I think Gyökeres is going to score a hatful of goals. And if Bukayo Saka does not get the injuries that he did last year, which obviously was out for 4 months, I think he could have the season of his life. And if he does that, that's going to be big news for Arsenal, particularly with Saka going into a World Cup year as it is in 2026. So, you know, I looked at Florian Wirtz and plenty of other players that could make a difference, but I think this is Arsenal's year, and I think it has to be for Mikel Arteta.
Ian, I want your predictions as well, because you're obviously going to Spain next week for our Mallorca coverage against Barcelona. Take us through your top six in the Premier League.
Well, I agree with Craig. I think Arsenal have been runners-up 3 times running. I think they've strengthened significantly. So I've got them winning a championship at last ahead of Liverpool. Now, Liverpool have strengthened as well, but they've got to make those players gel and fit a new team together. And, you know, what happened in May isn't necessarily what's going to happen from August on. So sometimes it's feelings, not reasons, that make you decide. So my feeling is for Arsenal. Liverpool, Manchester City brought in some players in the last 2 windows, still in transition though, really. Chelsea, will they suffer because of their summer exertions at some point in the season? I think Newcastle will get it sorted despite their problems this summer. And I do think Manchester United, with this revamped attack, will make the top 6, because last season Mbeumo got 20 goals, Huni got 15, Sesko got 21 in all competitions for Leipzig. I mean, last season only 4 teams scored fewer goals. This time I think they're going to score enough goals to make the top 6.
And then you've got Gyökeres like Craig as your top scorer.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's been a goal scorer, hasn't he? Everywhere he's gone in recent years, including Coventry City, everything. I mean, I read a big piece about him in World Soccer the other day, and the word they kept mentioning about him was how physical he is, as well as so he's not gonna have a problem with that side of the Premier League, and I think he will come off. But again, we don't know, but it's my hunch.
Who was your best player? I forget, Ian. Wirtz.
Wirtz, yeah, because I mean he's just a wonderful footballer, and I think he's going to illuminate the Premier League.
Well, you illuminate us every day with your curtains, and we very much appreciate you, Ian. Just a reminder, the Community Shield will be live for you on Sunday. Florian Wirtz and Liverpool in action against Crystal Palace in the traditional curtain raise of the start of the new season. That's at 9:30 Eastern on ESPN+.
Sonny, welcome to LA. You said LAFC wasn't your first choice, but what changed your mind?
It was not my choice. I mean, this is not hiding, but the first call when I had with John, and he just gave me the vision of the club and the way he wanna progress with the clubs and moving forwards. I think it just changed my mind, and also it was not just the club commitment, you know, and it was just not right now. They wanted me like quite a long time ago. So obviously, me as a football career, I want to be that guy. I want to go where the people most want me, you know. So it was LAFC, and I'm very happy to be here. And big credit to John to change my mind.
Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. Hopefully, Don, you've given your head a wobble since you replied all to the email chain which got Craig so angry.
Oh, he's absolutely fuming. I loved it. Absolutely loved seeing his head come off.
Ridiculous.
You were one of the
He
culprits.
must have been raging.
You were one of the culprits, yes, Don?
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
ridiculous.
just had to. I just had too many kids running around, and I answered an email. Then all of a sudden, Craig's head come off, and everyone followed me. It must have been amazing in this household.
What's having kids run around? Just reply all and reply.
Well, he's busy man, isn't he, Don? Looking after all his
I don't want to
children.
see Stuart Robson's predictions on my own. Like, send them to me.
Stevie, you replied all. That was a given,
course.
obviously.
Standard.
Oh, I saw what was going on.
No, you
This all happened before I even knew there was an email.
Right.
And then so I opened my email and I saw his nibs there.
Yes.
With a little thing on the end of it as well, by the way, you never told anybody about.
Yeah.
Oh, I
It's an
just...
abbreviation.
A little abbreviation.
What was there?
So I thought, I think I'll just pile on here.
So you replied
So
all
I
as well?
replied all as well.
And Ian, where were you in all of this?
Do you know what? I have no idea what you're talking about.
That's brilliant. Hey, that pretty much makes up for most of the show. All right, then. Let's kick things off, shall we? For Stevie and Craig, start, bench and drop these alternative sports shown on ESPN. Of course, ESPN Ocho has been running. Cornhole, hot dog eating, bubble blowing contest.
All of them. Get rid.
You got cornhole at yours, haven't you?
Yeah, but it's... Well, nobody misses.
Right.
Unbelievable.
It's just
I keep
the way you
seeing
are.
this. I've never seen the bubble blowing contest. I've seen the hot dog eating.
Yes.
Hot dog eating would be the
Talk
first.
about give your head a wobble. What's all that about?
Well, yeah.
A lot of money in it, you know. Make a fortune.
Hot dogs. What is it the guy eats?
Hot dogs.
60 or something like that?
A lot.
It's not healthy,
The
though.
hot dogs is first.
I know a man that could give him a go, though.
Shepherd's pie against a hot dog. Here he is.
yeah.
Do you want knife and fork? Nah, it's all right.
Just put some corn in the shepherd's pie. That's him screwed.
Don, cornhole is very much an American thing. Have you ever played it?
I've not got a clue what it is.
No.
I haven't got a clue.
Hot dog eating, though, you do?
Yeah, I've seen that. I'd have a go at that. I mean,
There
that's
you go.
useless, but I'd have a go.
And how's your bubble blowing levels?
I've never seen that.
No, I assume it's who can blow the biggest bubble, is it?
I don't know. I've never seen it.
Oh, there we go.
I mean, I only hear a bubble.
Stevie, how come Maresca
Bubblegum
got
boy.
nominated next to Slot for Coach of the Year? Winning 2 inconsequential tournaments is seemingly enough. Of course, the announcements were made for the Ballon d'Or today. Coach of the Year included Maresca.
Well, they got 2 trophies.
You got to make up the numbers, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, what
Hey, listen,
He won the
Vinny Jr.
No, I don't know how many
Jr.
managers were nominated, but
Exactly. Vinny Jr. was nominated
Yeah.
for the player. So, tells you that the process is a bit dodgy.
All right, it doesn't matter. He was just nominated, right?
yes, just nominated. Yeah.
Probably
He hasn't won it.
Scott McTominay nomination.
Oh, you love Scott McTominay.
Fantastic.
You love him.
That was good.
Ian, who finishes higher in the Championship this season, Portsmouth or Wrexham?
I'm gonna say Portsmouth, but then I wouldn't I?
Yeah, you would.
I think,
Big
you know,
Pompey
Wrexham
fan.
Hey, look, they've got a load of players in, haven't they? You know, Tiefenbohr's gone there, and Connor
Yeah.
Cody. They've got good striker Hardy from Plymouth in. They're splashing out, but they've got to adapt to the Championship, and they've risen up and got promoted every season. I don't think they will this time. I think Pompey might finish a little bit higher than
Where did
did
Portsmouth
last season.
finish
So
last year?
I'll say Portsmouth.
Ian, where did Portsmouth finish last year?
16th in the end, but they didn't win any of.
Ooh.
They got promoted. Didn't win any of their first 9 games.
Oh.
But then suddenly got to grips with it all and finished the season really strongly, especially at home.
16.
Wrexham come up every year, didn't they?
Wrexham have done it back to back to back to back.
Right.
Most people would say Wrexham, but I won't.
Yeah, Phil Parkinson's done a great job there. Obviously,
Yes.
most people know the story, but I think this is where it ends for now
Okay.
because the Championship is
The bun fight.
it is a proper bun fight. It's 46 games. They're big. They're physical. They can play a bit of football as well. It's sort of non-stop. I think maybe eventually they'll get to the promised land, but I don't think they're going to do it all the way through in the one hit.
Ian, Wrexham have won a lot of fans here because of the documentary, obviously, as well as what they've been doing. There's a lot of resentment, I know, from some friends of mine who support lower league clubs that they've just bought their way up the league.
Yeah, but they've been a great story, and I think that's just a lot of sour grapes. I mean, it was interesting. I had last time I went to the United States, I was in Los Angeles, and the first time I opened my mouth, somebody in the bar said to me, "Have you ever been to Wrexham? You must have been to Wrexham."
Wow.
I mean, the guys will know nobody ever really wanted to go to Wrexham before this.
No, at least they've very much Wrexham on the map. Don, would you like to add anything?
No, I've got a couple of houses in Wrexham.
Have you?
Oh.
I didn't know you had a Monopoly-style house. I thought you lost everything in the divorce. Oh, is that
Nobody wants a house.
I wouldn't say Monopoly was the word. I wouldn't say Monopoly was the word. Gamble, more like.
Oh, there we are.
Not even the ex-wife wants a house in Wrexham.
Some portfolio, that, isn't
There you go.
Moving on.
it? You can keep the
Well,
two.
I'm banking on
Wrexham.
them getting to the.
I'll
I'm banking
take
on
this
them getting
one.
to the Prem.
There you are. Exactly.
volume might go up.
There we go. I don't
On
know.
offer. A couple of.
I've got a couple of caravans in Wrexham.
How long have you had houses in Wrexham for, Don?
4 years-ish.
Is it you and
4 or 5
McAteer?
years? No.
You didn't buy them at a service station?
I was with him in Port Rush the other week. He was amazing form.
Oh,
but no.
We saw you on the coverage of the Open in England. They were interviewing you.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was hilarious. So Craig bombarded me with text, get off my TV. We were just sitting in the main stand on the fifth, the drivable par 4, and we just sat there all day. It was an amazing day. And a girl that I know for Sky Sports was working, and she sort of clocked me and she said, "Would you do a quick little interview?" So we done an interview, and the guy sort of said to me, "Who are you looking forward to see?" So I mentioned Bob McIntyre being a Scot, and mentioned Scheffler and Rory, etc. Then they asked Jason about Rory and what his chances are, and Jason absolutely pulled Rory's swing apart. He went, "Yeah, he's not hitting it very well. He's just about getting it round. It's not where his swing wants to be." Live on Sky, I'm thinking Jason McAteer just pulled Rory McIlroy's swing apart live on TV.
Percentage likelihood of Gyökeres flopping, Don?
I don't think he'll flop, but I disagree with Ian before when he said he thinks he'll be top scorer. I mean, Mo Salah's probably sticking a hand up and going, whoa, what about me? He'll get his goals because of the position that he plays and the firepower that he's got behind him. So he'll be a success.
Is there a player that you played against, Stevie, which you disliked at first, but then changed your view of him after speaking to him either in your playing days or after you retired? Craig Burley?
Burley?
Or was that the opposite?
No, I can't. Nothing comes to mind.
No?
As per usual, nothing comes to mind.
No, Burley?
No, I just
hated everyone.
No, I disliked quite a few of them, and I continued to dislike.
Right. What about you, Don?
Oh, do you know what, actually?
Oh, here we go.
Well, do you know how everyone goes on about Craig Bellamy?
Yes.
Never shot up. He's always trapping away and he's a bit of pain. And
yes.
And you kind of... I guess we're all a bit the same. When you hear so many people saying that, you kind of make your mind up that they must be right. And then you meet them. And I met Craig Bellamy. And he couldn't have been nicer. Okay. What a nice guy.
That's nice.
Aye.
That's a lovely story.
Yeah.
There you are. What about you, Don?
There's loads down, and I think we're all probably in the same boat as well. If you asked other players, they'd probably mention us lot because we were all gobby back then. We had to be on the pitch. You had to try and look after yourself verbally. But as Stevie said, Craig Bellamy. Robbie Savage is another one that I've worked with over the last 10 years. Funny, good lad, but on the pitch you sort of hate him because he's meant to get in your face and he's meant to sort of get under your skin. But to be honest, it was an era where every team had one and we were probably exactly the same.
Ian, who's under more pressure this season with all these big purchases in the summer transfer window? Gyökeres, Sesko, Zubi, Mbeumo, Cunha, Madueke, Arteta or Amorim?
I think Amorim of those, because what happened with Manchester United in his first half season was a horror story for him. So there's a lot of people out there saying, is he a bit of a myth? I know, he did fabulous things at Sporting Lisbon, but is he a bit of a myth? He needs Manchester United to be playing better and delivering results by November, December. Otherwise, football being football, the kind of talk that's going to be going on about him.
Craig,
Just thinking, Dan.
Yes, go on.
Just thinking, Dan.
What are you thinking about,
Is there an
Don?
apology coming my way?
Apology?
Well, isn't there an apology coming my way on the Man United saga? Yeah.
From who?
You.
What did I say? What have I done?
So we had a massive argument in the studio when I suggested Man United it was Gyökeres at the time, and I said they could push for top 4, and we had a massive argument. All of a sudden now it looks pretty good.
No, it doesn't.
Who? Man United? You're having a laugh.
Tom, why would you bring up such a silly point? So
because
this is where I go. Here we go. This is the one thing I'm going to say to you. Have you got Manchester United finishing in the top 4?
No, but because I didn't know, because you haven't signed Sesko.
Point in continuing this.
Because you asked me the question.
No, Dom.
So the debate we had.
It's also the fact that
You've got no chance.
It's also that you're having to apologise for something that's not happened.
No, it's Craig.
Hey, come on.
Dan
Hey,
said to me.
come on,
Dan said to me,
apologise.
Craig. Dan said to me, where can they finish if they sign Mbeumo, Cunha, and Gyökeres?
Right.
And I said, with those 3 signings on top of Bruno Fernandes, they could push for top 4.
But they
obviously
haven't.
They didn't
They
get
haven't
Gyökeres,
signed
but
them.
they've got
They
Sesko.
haven't and they won't.
Well, they have. They
have,
signed.
but they
got
won't.
Bruno.
So-
they signed Mbeumo. They
So why
signed
have you
Cunha,
not got
and
them
now
in?
they've got Sesko.
Why have you not got them in your? Have you got them in your top 6?
I'll answer that, Craig. It
Come
was
on, then.
asked before they signed Sesko.
Okay, so now you can revise your Premier League predictions. Who is in your top 4?
Not Man United.
Right. Top 6.
There's
Yeah,
a light.
top 6.
You've got them.
There's a light flash
He
in the
said
top.
ish. He said ish.
But it was brilliant because you were so defensive and you go, nah, they're not even going to get top 10. And I was like, whoa. No European football whatsoever. They've got a right chance. Conte's just won the league in Italy.
What's that got?
What's that got to do with it?
Because they've got no European football.
Anyway,
They've just got,
don't worry about that,
they've
Don.
just
Come
got
on.
one game a week.
Come on.
Hey,
They've got one
apologise to
game a week.
Conte.
Come on.
Come on.
Oh, God. Craig, start.
And then you wonder why I get these reply all emails.
Craig, start, bench or drop. Formula 1, golf and football.
Golf, Formula 1, dropped,
Yes.
football,
Yeah,
drop,
there we are. Predictable.
Gonzo.
Ian, are you surprised that Anthony Robinson hasn't moved to a top team this summer?
Yeah, I am a little bit surprised because, wing backs are all the fashion, and I think he'd be perfect for a left wing back role somewhere. But Liverpool went for Kirkes. I know they're not going to use him specifically. He's going to be a left back, but he will push forward a lot, believe me. Yeah, I'd have thought there would be offers for Anthony Robinson, but almost nothing has happened at Fulham. But I can give you a little exclusively about Anthony Robinson. He had a hole-in-one at my local golf club the other day, over 325 yards.
Blimmin' heck.
So he can hit the ball a long way.
Did he buy a
Craig will tell
drink?
you, and Stevie will tell you about that.
There you are.
Not you, of course,
Did he buy
Dan.
you a drink, Ian? Did he put money behind the bar for you?
Well, I wasn't there when it happened, but he's rather pleased with himself. Is Jedi, as he's known to everybody.
Oh, fantastic. Nice.
thought he would have
I
done
like that's Ian's exclusive, although Robinson did put it
Well-
on his Instagram. But apart from that...
He'd have been a decent fit for
Nearest I
Man
get to
United,
one.
wouldn't he? Playing as a wing back.
With Newcastle, Spurs and Palace all ending long trophy droughts last
Apologise to me. Apologise.
season. Ian, who's your pick to come out of nowhere and win silverware in the Premier League this year?
Wow, wouldn't it be great if there was another kind of Leicester City type of story? You need one of them every so often because we all put the predictions up and nobody would be bold enough to go really left field. But I think if there's a surprise team this season, if they keep their players, if they can cope with Thursday nights in Europe, it would be Crystal Palace. If they've still got Adam Wharton in the team and Jean-Philippe Mateta and Eze, who's got
question,
Arsenal
isn't it?
interested in him, and Gahi, who's probably going to be sold because he's going to be out of contract next summer. But if they did keep those 4 on board, I could see Palace being dangerous to anyone they played.
Don?
I'm going to go, Dan, for Newcastle to win another trophy.
Another one, that's not a question.
All right,
How were either of these two coming from nowhere when last year they won a trophy?
Right, okay. Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
Stevie is the referee.
I mean, it's still a bit left field to try and retain
Who's
a
your
trophy,
pick
Stevie,
to come out of nowhere and win silverware?
Brighton.
Right. Out of
Newcastle.
Just a...
Fulham.
Newcastle's your pick. Thank you very
Tell you
much.
what,
The spirit of the question,
I
Fulham.
think Newcastle will break that long dock they've got of...
There you go, that is it.
months.
Thank you very much, Don. Much appreciated. Oh, we learned more about Don today. We're all off to his Airbnb in Wrexham. We will be back tomorrow to look ahead to the Community Shield, of course, which is live and exclusive on ESPN+.